So to kick us off today, I'm really delighted to welcome our special guest, Sandy Mead. And before we go into Sandy telling us a little bit about her and her company, again, my name is Deb Giordano. I'm a Vice President for Equus Workforce Solutions. I lead our National Service Delivery team, and I'm just really proud to be here today and part of this whole new virtual adventure for NAWB attendees, sponsors, exhibitors, so forth. So we're all learning and excited to embrace this new way forward. So Sandy, again, thank you. This is our first interview for NAWB 2020. Congratulations, and thanks for being willing to step up and start us off. So Sandy, tell us a little bit about you, and then also tell us about MedCerts and just an overview to give everyone a sense of what you're all about.
Perfect. Thanks, Deb, and congratulations on the name change. It'll be interesting to work with that throughout the rest of the year here. And especially, as you mentioned, the NAWB and all of us trying to learn how to do a conference this way. It's definitely has its challenges, right?
Right.
So Sandy Mead, I'm the National Director of Workforce Development. I've been working with workforce development as a school, a training provider, providing training to participants for about 20 years now. So it's been exciting to meet with a lot of people all across the country. I work for MedCerts. The benefit of MedCerts is we do online training, which with the COVID challenges that we have today are a good benefit for our students and for the workforce offices. We provide the online training for short-term programs leading to national certifications in healthcare and IT. We work with a lot of the military organizations and programs across the country to provide the credentialing for military as well as for workforce offices.
Fantastic. So Sandy, I think, yeah, your organization was well positioned, if there is such a thing, for the whole COVID-19 situation that I think really required everyone to retool and rethink service delivery. And so I congratulate you and your company for really being well positioned to support workers, workforce boards, employers, and communities out there. So can you tell us all just a little bit more about your blended learning model?
You know, we've started off strictly as an online training, getting students started at any given time. As I work with different workforce offices and boards across the country, you know, some people are going, online training is great, but it's not for everybody. So, and we do understand and agree. So we did a blended learning model. We've done quite a few different pilot programs across the country. And the benefit is the workforce region gets to choose, you know, let's say we had 10 students start all at the same time. And it was still MedCerts online training. We were still the instructor. We still did our student support outreach that we provide. But we had a workforce office partner that did the blended learning. The students went into their center, whether, you know, in one project it was twice a week. So the students had that structure base that they need, right, discipline to still have accountability. They liked the idea that their core training was online and around their schedule, but knowing they just had a few touch points per week to give that structure and discipline to be able to commit to the training. And the exciting part is the partner would not do any training of MedCerts, of the core training. They would do their wraparound services. So the blended learning, the career services that your workforce offices are so well known for, to be able to provide that training simultaneously as they're doing credentialing training helped build their confidence that a lot of our participants need. So the blended learning model has increased program completion rate, certification, taking the national exam, right? They don't have the exam jitters as much because
right,
they're working together.
Fantastic. So how do career coaches connect job seekers to your training and local workforce boards? How do they get connected to MedCerts?
Well, MedCerts, based here in Michigan, is currently approved on 26 states eligible training provider list. Our goal is to get to all 50, so we're working our way there. But we are approved, and we have been reaching out. We have regional workforce managers that are dedicated to each state. So the goal is to be able to build a true partnership and understand each state and their requirements and their procedures and policies. And within each state, each board has very specific requirements. So our regional workforce managers reach out to them. We provide folders and brochures for resource rooms for the different American Job Centers. We have good relationships, as you mentioned, with those career coaches, just to let them know who MedCerts is, the programs that we do offer, the progress reports. I think the biggest thing of MedCerts online training is our progress reports. Every workforce office is held accountable, right? You need to see what are the skills gained. So we provide an automated progress report twice per month to that career coach. So they immediately get to see how their students are doing all the time. It's not a surprise if they're ahead of pace or behind pace. The progress report really does let them know how they're doing, how they're grading, what their scores are on their chapter test. So it's a great way to build partnership with career coaches and making sure they know that MedCerts is just another option for their participants to do training for healthcare and IT credentials.
Terrific, thank you. I know many of our operations are connected with MedCerts in your team, and so it's not hard to get connected, and congratulations on having 26 states, and I'm sure you'll soon have all 50. I want to switch gears just a little bit, and first of all, I want to start out with the congratulations, because I know you were recently awarded a DOL grant for the National Apprenticeship Intermediary role. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. We're excited.
I want you to tell us a little bit about that. For instance, what are the occupations that were approved, and what types of employers are you working with to implement, targeted markets, and what some of the benefits are to the regional workforce boards as you continue to implement this fairly new opportunity?
Thank you very much. We started last year turning and learning more about apprentice, as everybody has. And when we were looking to apply to the DC Department of Labor for approval, we asked, what can we do? What's out there? As you know, when people first think of apprenticeship, they're thinking of the auto industry, they're thinking of labor, right? And workforce offices are really trying to push non-traditional apprentice programs. And that's exactly what healthcare is non-traditional apprentice programs. So we have a clinical medical assistant, a pharmacy technician, a phlebotomy, a veterinary assistant, and a billing and coding. 5 approved apprentice programs where MedCerts is the intermediary or that sponsor. And what that does is it frees up the healthcare system. They're busy. They don't want that added pressure of all those reports and documentation. So if MedCerts takes on that responsibility for them, it allows them to open up more to the idea of having apprentice in their healthcare system. We are working with different boards. We've had to get approved on the ETPL as an approved registered apprentice programs. So that process is being done. We've reached out to a lot of the state and federal levels in regards to being an approved apprentice. And we're starting to build relationships. In fact, I'm going to say ResCare, but now we got to change the name to Equus.
Equus, right.
Equus, thank you. In both Nebraska and Texas. And we're partnering with them to go out and talk to their business service reps with healthcare systems to be able to sign up and to get healthcare systems to do some apprentice opportunities. So it's new for all of us, but there's no doubt partnership and working together is going to create the success. And having that apprentice opportunity is a benefit to all of them, from the employer to the workforce office, and most importantly to that participant.
Great. Are there did you mention any specific target markets geographically where you're focused initially, or is it nationwide?
We are nationwide approved. So we are working, again, those partnerships that we built, right? So we all have different partnerships.
Right.
And whose interest, who's asking us to go, hey, let's work together. Nebraska and Lincoln, Nebraska, we are reaching out to nursing home systems are huge for medical assistant. And right now with COVID, hospital systems just aren't looking into apprentice opportunities. Mindset is not there yet, but we are working with some of the smaller organizations. Pharmacy tech is absolutely always in need and a great apprentice opportunity. But we have a nationwide agreement with Walgreens and CVS and Kroger's. But what about the local self-owned pharmacies? Those are your easiest to get at first while we continue to build the relationship and the need and get the big corporate centers to understand how important apprentice is. So it's working both.
So now I want to talk a little bit about a partnership that you have with the Career Center and a number of business in the New Orleans market. So tell us a little bit about that, that special project in that region.
Oh, that was a lot of fun. We worked with Ochsner Health System and Job One in New Orleans. What happened is Job One had the participants and they vetted them. And then they had a group of over 24 participants that then went to Ochsner and let Ochsner vet them. So they interviewed the participants and said, okay, if these 10 students had the pharmacy tech training, we would love to hire them. So we went through the process. Throughout the training, Job One paid for the 10 students to do the training with MedCerts. We had a partnership with Ochsner that every 2 weeks, the students went to the Ochsner pharmacy and had those touch points. So again, it kept that interaction going all the way through the training and kept the students excited about it. The ASHP accredited pharmacy tech program has a requirement of a mandatory 160-hour externship. So because MedCerts is nationwide, we do have a nationwide agreement with Walgreens and CVS to provide that mandatory externship. But what we did is we did it right there with Ochsner Health System. So they did the 160-hour externships, and the students have been working with them through this touch point, as well as doing such a great job with Job One and their touch points and their case managers and career coaches to keep them going throughout the training. Upon completion of the program, it was really nice. Ochsner did a graduation party. We had all the students together. We did it there at the hospital. We had Job One come in. And I think the one exciting part, and it brought everybody to tears, is one of the students stood up and did a thank you to Ochsner and to Job One for giving her this opportunity. She had promised her grandfather, who was ill and passing away, that she would go back and finish high school. So she had quit at 10th grade, and her grandfather made her promise that she would finish. So she says, not only did I have the opportunity to finish my high school education, but I never thought I'd have this opportunity to do the training and achieve a national certification. So thank you to Job One and to Ochsner for making this possible. So such a rewarding opportunity to be involved in all of that. It was exciting. We had 9 out of the 10 students completely finish the program from start to finish.
That is outstanding. And you know what? It's those kinds of stories, Sandy, that keep all of us doing this work every day and energized around this kind of work. And it really does take partnerships involving business, education, workforce development, community organizations. So what a great example of a difference we can make in the lives of individuals. You know, I know you also have some really cool and interesting models where you provide on-site facilitators for cohort online training, primarily with TANF participants. So how does that work and what have been the results so far?
We did a program, and it was a good pilot program in Maryland, where Employ Prince George had the students do the training, and we did MedCerts online training. But we had another partner, which everybody believes, you know, the partnership is what really does add that extra touch. So Melody Daniels' team and KRA had the students come in there, and they did even remedial training. Deb, to be able to offer those students remedial skills to upskill their reading and math tape scores, while they simultaneously did MedCerts credentialing program, was very rewarding. So we had the facilitator that, again, is just there to help guide, encourage, provide the career coaching that you guys do so well, to help overcome student barriers. You know, they really did create a teamwork with this group of students. We had a couple students that were in the hospital, and you know, she was in the hospital for 2 to 3 weeks. When she got a little bit better, she had her mom bring in the computer so she can continue her online training so she wouldn't fall behind with her cohorts. So to be able to do a blended learning, and these were SNAP and TANF students. We had 10 students enrolled, 100% program completion rate. They were then studying for the exam, right? The national certification is critical for all of us. So we had them in the exam prep process. The first 5 students had scheduled their test at a local PSI testing center and passed. 100% completion. At this point, 100% pass rate. Then COVID hit. So everybody closed down. The other 5 students, KRA has continued to do virtual facilitation with these students and encouragement. And now that NHA, the National Healthcare Association, has set up virtual testing and online testing, we're in the process with those remaining 5 students to get their certification exams scheduled and do it in a virtual online matter and still be proctored. So very exciting to be able to do that. During COVID, another quick example is we had another organization that had an instructor-led class scheduled with the community college, and COVID happened. So of course, everything got canceled. They didn't want to cancel it on the 7 students. So we did virtual MedCerts online training and virtual facilitation. Every Friday, those students log in, and it's a Goodwill organization that is doing virtual services. So let's continue to go, still provide that structure and discipline and facilitator in a virtual model. And at this point, in fact, I just this morning, every Monday, I send a weekly report to show the progress of the 7 students. So I sent it out this morning, and all 7 are on pace. Their program completion rate or day is July 30th. So they'll be completed with their training, and then we'll focus on that exam prep and get them tested in August. And all of it is done virtually.
Fantastic. So Sandy, we're near the end of our time. I really appreciate you sharing all the great things that MedCerts is doing to support job seekers and communities, and the pivot that everybody's had to do around COVID-19. I know you've been an invaluable partner for so many. Before we close out this session, is there anything else you'd like to share about where MedCerts is heading, or any final comments at all for our audience?
Well, thank you so much. It's been great working with you and your organization for the past many years. It is so rewarding, as we all know, to be able to be involved in helping students in their careers and be able to get certifications. MedCerts has continued to grow. When we first started working with workforce offices, we had 4 healthcare credentials, 4 national certifications. We are now up to 15 national certifications in healthcare using the 12 elements of e-learning. So it's not just jumping through hoops trying to figure out online training. We really are using simulations and activities and gaming and 3D animation to keep the student involved in the training, not just listen to a presentation. We need them clicking the mouse, playing the game, choosing the activities to really be able to absorb what it is they're learning. And we're real excited to continue to create programs and to be here for the different workforce offices across the country to help. So as online is going, if you or your participants are looking for it, please give me a call.
Fantastic. Thank you, Sandy, again. Enjoy the rest of NAWB 2020, and best of luck in all of the exciting projects and work you have going on around the country.